Okay, so where we left off, we were dividing to turn 2/3 into a decimal, so we set up the problem like this. 3 doesn't go into 2, but 3 goes into 20 6 times. 3 times 6 is 18. Subtracting it 2, bring down the 0. 3 goes into 20 6 times. And this would keep repeating. So 2/3 is equal to 66 hundredths repeating. I have one more fraction that I need to turn into a decimal. Go ahead and see if you can do that in 60 seconds or less. Stand up when you have turned 5/8 into a decimal. You have 60 seconds. Go. Ten more seconds. Make sure you keep standing if you have done it. Okay, so you should have gotten 625 thousandths. So far I have 3 decimals. The last thing I need to do is turn 65% into a decimal. So if I'm turning a percent into a decimal, remember I'm going to think Dr. Pepper, start at my percent and go 1, 2 to the left. 65%, 1, 2, it becomes 65 hundredths. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is order my decimals. So I'm going to put 66 repeating, and then I'm going to put 65 hundredths, 625 thousandths, and then 6 tenths. So I lined them up according to their place value, so their decimal points are in order, their tenths place are in order. Now I'm just going to add zeros to all the missing place values. And now since there's 0 in the ones place, I'm going to look at the tenths place. Oh, they're all 6s. So now I'm going to look at the hundredths place. So we said we were going to do descending order, greatest to least. So in the hundredths place, the greatest number is a 6. So this number right here is our greatest. So we're going to have that first, and that was originally 2/3. Okay. So this is done. The next greatest number in the hundredths place is this one. So this is going to be number 2. And that was originally 65%. So that's going to be next after 2/3. And then we have a 2 or a 0 in the hundredths place. Well, the next biggest number is a 2. So that's going to be 3, and that was 5/8. And then the 0 in the hundredths place makes this our smallest value. So that's going to be last. So I look at my answer choices, and it looks like the correct answer is A. I have 2/3, 65%, 5/8, and 6 tenths. Okay, so now I want you, that's number 1. Now I want you to look at number 2. And I want you to take 30 seconds and discuss with a partner what you notice about the numbers used in number 2. 30 seconds, go. Okay, so perhaps you said something like, oh, they're all mixed numbers, or they all have a fraction, or something like that. So if you said that, you're on the right track. So if we have the same type of numbers, so here we have all fractions, we don't have to change them unless we really want to. If you're more of a decimal person, a decimal diva, and you want to turn all these into decimals, you could. But since they're already in fractions, what I'm going to do to order these is I'm going to give all my fractions a common denominator. And then also before we get started, we should look at the problem. Number 2 asks, which list shows the lengths of wood in order from shortest to longest? So shortest to longest. Tell your elbow partner if you think shortest to longest means least to greatest or greatest to least. Go ahead and tell them. You have 10 seconds. Okay, so if you said least to greatest, you are absolutely correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give these fractions common denominators, and then we're going to order them from least to greatest. So I look 4, 8, 6, 3, 2. What is the common denominator of all of these numbers? 4, 8, 6, 3, 2. Go ahead and tell someone close to you what you think a common denominator could be. Okay, if you said 24, that is really, really awesome. So all of these fractions are going to have a denominator of